Good evening, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to the evening session of Being Heartful Every Day with Swadhyaya. Tonight, we continue our deep dive into the theme of perseverance. Yesterday, we were reflecting that perseverance is a gentle yet firm consistency, one that cultivates patience and faith and prepares us to receive divine grace. Tonight, let's explore how perseverance is an essential tool for transcending our limitations and embracing our highest spiritual potential. On the spiritual path, our biggest obstacle is often our own ego, the limited sense of self that is bound by habits, fears, and doubts. And perseverance is the quality that helps us transcend these self imposed limitations. When we commit to our spiritual practices with a gentle yet firm will, we are essentially moving beyond our comfort zone. Every time we choose to sit for meditation, even when the mind is restless, or to perform the evening cleaning when we feel little lazy or we are challenging the ego's dominance. This consistent effort is a gradual yet powerful way to dissolve the layers of our self limitation, revealing our true expansive nature. Perseverance is also often expressed through sincere repetition in our abhyas, in our practice. This means repeating the meditation, the cleaning, the prayer with a fresh heart each time. It is not a mechanical repetition, but something which is done from the heart. The power of this sincere repetition lies in its ability to create a deep groove in our consciousness, a habit of turning inward. As Babuji has said, the purpose of practice is to create a habit of turning to the master. This habit of turning inward is what ultimately frees us from the bondage of external circumstances and inner agitations. It is the unwavering repetition performed with sincerity that allows the spiritual state to become a permanent and unwavering. Ultimately, our ability to persevere is a direct reflection of a profound longing for the goal. It is our heart's deep yearning for the divine that fuels our daily efforts. This longing is not a fleeting emotion. It is a deep, continuous pull towards our spiritual destiny. Perseverance is the outer expression of this inner longing, and it shows that our commitment to the journey is not superficial but is deeply rooted in our being. Dear sisters and brothers, we'll move ahead in the session with a request to also please consider extending the invitation of BHED sessions and Heartfulness master classes with your family and with your friends. And let's now resume our inspirational reading from the article by beloved Taji titled Failure to Attain the Next Stage and Failure to Retain a Stage. Attachment to bliss can be a big hindrance for us. When we feel so blissful, we want to live in that state forever, and the idea of moving away from bliss often creates resistance. There is the possibility of infinite expansion at each chakra, but it is horizontal expansion. It is better to move even 1 inch into a higher dimension than expand infinitely at a lower level. That's why it requires an effort even to move 1 inch. And most of us fail to understand the significance of that little effort in moving further. Anything that annoys us in another person is what we need to work upon in ourselves. Without a noble character, spiritual progress is of no use. Swami Vivekananda describes it thus: some days or weeks when you are practicing, the mind will be calm and easily concentrated, and you'll find yourself progressing fast. All of a sudden, the progress will stop one day, and you will find yourself as it was stranded. Persevere. All progress proceeds by rise and fall. So, courage and faith are required to avoid losing hope and focus in this process. If we keep starting and stopping, nothing is possible because our neural pathways need the automatism of regular practice to become so well established that our new level of consciousness becomes habitual, automatic, and subconscious. Why is there such a need? It is so that our mind is freed up to learn new things at a conscious level. Unless and until this habitual nature is established, any activity remains conscious and incomplete. Once it becomes subconscious, we are fully imbibed and become one with any spiritual stage. That is why it helps us so much to have one goal and to keep reminding ourselves that we need to reach that goal, even if the journey is difficult at times. But perhaps the biggest reason we are victims of alabdha bhumikatva and anavashtitatvani is our inability to change our character and behavior. As a result, we don't retain a spiritual level even if a capable master takes us up there. Often we are not even cognizant of the character traits that pulls us backwards. And even when we are, we may think that we have changed. But then a stressful situation takes us back into old habits again. There's such a common problem that nature, in her generosity, has given us each others as mirrors. We see this in everyday life. Anything that annoys us in another person is what we need to work upon in ourselves. Without a noble character, spiritual progress is of no use. Swami Vivekananda has described it beautifully. Stages do nothing at the time of death. Moderation is required, and that is lacking everywhere. Spirituality alone can do nothing. It must go side by side with morality. This aspect of psychology is why Yama and Niyama are the first two steps in Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. Yama is the removal of all unwanted qualities, and Niyama is the integration of noble qualities in the refinement of a lifestyle. And in heartfulness, we have so much help with both these steps. Meditation allows us to introspect and evaluate ourselves. Cleaning removes the root samskars that result in behavioral habits and tendencies. Prayer gives us a way to connect with the divine and submit our weaknesses and faults so that we can change. Every day we can recalibrate and follow a path of continuous improvement. It is a simple solution to one of the most difficult problems facing human beings since the time immemorial. With this, we come to the end of the article. Dear sisters and brothers, as it is time for the universal prayer, let us offer the prayer together. All brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है. With this universal prayer, open our hearts, inspiring us all to live with more love, unity, oneness, and deep serenity. Dear sisters and brothers, before you settle for the night, let's make this a moment of sacred reflection and the bedtime prayer. This practice is a vital part of our journey, offering us a chance to apply the bedtime prayer, repentance, and resolve before we sleep. With a sincere heart, gently review your day and offer these reflections to the beloved Master in your prayer, making a firm resolve not to repeat them. This conscious act helps you to release the day's burdens, ensuring you begin tomorrow with a cleaner slate and a more serene spirit. Dear sisters and brothers, thank you for being a part of this session this evening. And we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for the morning session at 6 a.m. Until then, wishing you all a very good night.